Welcome to another episode of the OC Podcast. I am your host, Ricky Valero. On today's episode, we're going to continue on our episode by episode watch of the OC. We're going to tackle season 1, episode 9, The Heights. As always, I am joined by my co-host here and partner in crime, Kenzie. How are you today?
I'm good. This was such a good episode. Like, so much happened. Love it.
I wasn't sure what to expect. Last episode we had a solid episode, I would say. You know what I mean? The rescue. But the Heights, I feel like, was a little bit better. We're getting a lot more into the character development of certain places. But I really enjoyed myself. As we have we have a house divided. We got all sorts of crazy things going on and so much to dive into. But Kenzie's favorite part of the week, each and every week, is me reading off the synopsis of the episode.
I don't know if I'm ready.
IMDb. All right. So obviously, season 1, episode 9 is called The Heights. Here is our synopsis: Calculus, AP English, History, the ways of the human heart. Not everything learned at Harbor High is on the schedule of classes. The Cohen Casa is a house divided when Sandy takes an environmental case against Kirsten's father. That is our synopsis.
Who wrote this? What is this? I don't understand. It's like a schedule. Like, I'm surprised they didn't sneak in times. Like, AP Calculus, 9 a.m. Like, homeroom. Like, and then why do they call it the Cohen's Casa? Like, just say house. I don't understand. This is really weird. This is a really bad one. 2 thumbs down.
Casa. I love it.
2 thumbs down. And like, I've never heard it called Harbor High. It's just Harbor. No one calls it Harbor High. Even like the when they reference the public school, they don't even call it like a high school. They say like Newport Union. No one has ever in the history of discussing the OC called it Harbor High.
Oh man.
All of my notes, I was like, oh my God, Harbor. I didn't say Harbor High. I'm pretty sure their sweatshirts just say Harbor. It's not called Harbor High. I hate this. I'm really worked up.
All right, folks, that was the episode for the day.
That was it.
Just stay in. We're going to have a whole episode dedicated to renaming each one of these episodes with our own synopsis.
It's really bad. This is not a good
fantastic. I love the rants about how terrible our synopsises are each and every week. Because
I don't know what's going on.
It's bad, right? You know what I mean?
I'm surprised, like, the description for, like, or the synopsis for, like, the episode of the rescue wasn't, like, hospital, bracelet. Like, what is happening? Give us, like, bullet list things to describe high school.
They try to get clever with "It Can't Stand Mexico" being a play of the words from whatever, Seth as what happens in Mexico says, and then not after heartbroken Marissa took all those pills. Like, that was...
This is up there, though. It's one of the worst ones.
Yes, very much so. Because first off, why do you start off with Calculus, AP English, and History? And then on the flip side, who says the Cohen Casa? And then also who says Harbor High? Like, you just have so much...
Too many bad takes in this synopsis.
All right. We're going to transition to the opening of the episode, which sees Kirsten call... Which is hilarious, right? She calls Seth everything under she goes,
it's so
horrible,
funny.
Dope, and then of course she settles on rad, and then Sandy comes in the room, and she goes to Sandy, "Doesn't Seth look rad?"
It's so funny.
He says, "You do look rad." Mad props, son.
Mad props, son is one of the best quotes. It's so good.
Ever.
Especially because Sandy does this thing where he is aware he's not being cool. Like, he's aware he's being annoying. But you can tell he's like, am I being cool?
Yes.
Like, he's like, am I? He's like, you know what? I am cool.
Because like he thinks he's cool in his head, but at the same time, like, he wants to be cool to his kids, and everybody else, he wants to be the funny guy, as which he is, but at the same time, he laughs at his own jokes. He's one of those guys.
It's so funny.
It's so good.
So funny.
Just an interesting morning at the Cohens there. we we transition to old Jimmy Cooper's house.
So funny. I love his PJs. The PJs are just like so good.
They are. Who makes French toast in the oven?
Well, I love that Summer is like, okay, way future episodes, they talk about Summer doesn't know how to cook. But she's like, first off, don't put it in the oven. Like, and then
Marissa
it's so
Cooper,
funny.
chef.
It's so funny, like, Summer and Jimmy's relationship has always been like weird. Like, it hasn't been a normal, like, your best friend's dad. I don't know. They've just written it really weird. But then somehow she's comfortable enough to make this joke in front of him where she's like, I'm not sure who I'm more worried about between like Jimmy and Marissa. And I'm like, they haven't like established they have that kind of like,
no,
like it was really weird. And then Jimmy didn't react very weird. Like he reacted like that's a normal thing for Summer to say. And I'm like, she was just literally taking her shirt off, being like, I hope your dad walks in.
Right.
Like 2 episodes ago. Like what's going on? Like so weird. But it was really funny.
It was,
and like who makes it in the oven? Like did he make it on the stovetop and then be like, I'm gonna make it a little crispy and like put it in the oven to like crisp?
I was wondering maybe he didn't have any any pans is what I was thinking. So possibly he thought I'm going to throw it in the oven, which theoretically you could technically make it in the oven. You know, you could technically.
Should I have tried that as research before we recorded?
I feel like we failed ourselves.
Yeah.
I'm not
you know what? I'll try it one day. I'll try it. The Jimmy Cooper French toast, my new special.
We're going to make our own OC cookbook after this show.
Can you imagine?
Oh my goodness.
It's just like Sandy's bagels, Marissa's mac and cheese, and then Ryan's grilled cheese.
If you're listening to this in the next 6 months, if we see on Amazon Prime an OC cookbook, we are coming with lawyers. Sandy Cohen will be representing us in this tackling of cases.
Like, but will it be Sandy Cohen public defender or will it be Sandy Cohen, whatever firm he works at now?
It's definitely going to be an aggressive Sandy Cohen.
So definitely the new big paycheck.
Yes. We transition back into the Cohen's house here. I love Seth. They're talking about how grand school's going to be, and then he goes, every year some big water polo guy pees in my shoe, and then he stops himself. No, just kidding. Both shoes.
Both shoes. It's so funny. I just love that like they're like trying to like hype it up, and then Seth is like, it's not great, guys. Like I'm the one that goes there. Like it's not a good school. Don't tell Ryan that. But they're like not trying to say it, but they have this look on their face like I think it'll be different for Ryan.
Like when all actuality, no, it's going to be worse.
It's so funny. He's literally like, aren't you? He's like, you're not nervous? We're just going to school with like 300 Lukes. I was like, oh my God. It was really funny.
Oh, yes. Of course, then we watch, we see Summer and Marissa kind of walk into school. Marissa, you know, Summer downplaying to Marissa what's really going to happen when she gets to school.
It's so sad.
Like, but what I did love here, I did love Summer standing up for Marissa. That was a very...
Yeah, she was such an aggressive wing woman.
Yes, and I really appreciated that.
Yeah. I was like, oh, okay, I finally understand why they're good friends. The whole season so far, 9 episodes, they're like, they're such great friends. And I'm like, why? Summer like tried to hook up with Luke.
That's one of my my next points here is I was like, wait a minute, didn't I write this down before I said it? And I did. And then obviously with the sweet moment between Ryan and Marissa, right? You know what I mean? Just a little sweet little moment. But, and then Summer cusses Luke out, which, okay.
So funny.
Okay. Hilarious. Right?
So funny.
But wasn't she trying to take over old Coop's spot at the ball? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like she was trying to, wasn't she previously talking about how great Luke is? Even though like we haven't even addressed the situation that Summer actually knew that Luke was cheating.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like she has known this, right? You know what I mean? Like I'm not saying Summer's not being a good friend right now because she was, but
is it to make up for it?
Right. It's the Kirsten special, as I like to coin it.
Leave Kirsten alone.
I can't. It's only going to get worse for Kirsten. It's only getting worse for Kirsten this episode. This episode right here. All right, sorry. Speaking of which, next scene. Next scene we have Sandy and Kirsten. You know, they got the house to themselves here.
I like when she's like, mornings used to be our time, because to me, mornings are chaotic for everyone. How was that ever their time? Especially when Seth was younger, how was it their time?
Yeah, it made no sense to me because you think, yeah, I mean, it had to have been at least like they've had a kid, right? Their entire like the last.
I guess Seth kind of probably took care of himself. He was probably like one of those like 10-year-olds that was like 45, you know?
Ready. He was on the bus and ready to go at like,
like
he was an hour early.
Yeah. So maybe. But I just like that he like shoots himself in the foot by calling Rachel attractive.
Oh my God. I should have found an attractive coworker years ago. That was hilarious, but also
covered my eyes.
Thing you could have ever said. But he does backtrack really well. I just have my issues with Kirsten in the back of my head.
You hate Kirsten. Why?
Why? Because she's lying to my man, right? You know what I mean? She's criticizing she's criticizing.
Says this later. Summer brings up what he doesn't know won't hurt him. Summer says this. But like, to be fair, Jimmy's already going through a lot. And like they've already like discussed it. I think she should tell
them making out.
No, Jimmy and Kirsten discussed it.
Yeah, let's just leave out the husband.
But like, I just think in this specific situation, Jimmy has so much going on. Like his daughter overdosed, was in the hospital. His wife is leaving him. Sure. He is broke. Like he has a lot of changes going on. And like, when was she supposed to tell him? When
my only issue is this. My only issue is she is holding it over his head about Rachel, right? Is that her name?
Yes, but like she keeps catching him alone with her when he's not supposed to be, and like,
is he not supposed to be though?
I don't know. If you say I'm going out to dinner with the team and it's just her and they're drinking,
maybe that's her team. You know, I mean,
but that's I'm not just your team. That's
but she
just
shows up person. With Jimmy
because he needed a lawyer.
I mean,
if you needed a lawyer and like someone was like, I'll give you a ride, like what are they gonna do? Take two separate cars? They're neighbors at that point.
I hear you. I hear what you're saying.
You just really hate Kirsten, and it has to stop. Kirsten is not a bad person.
Oh my God, yes.
She's not a bad person. We like Kirsten. I like Kirsten.
I don't hate her.
I admire Kirsten.
I just have issues with some of her finagling of things that she does is my only issue with her.
I don't know, because
she does a lot behind Sandy's coat.
I know how this show goes down, and Sandy is not the most faithful husband.
I'm not saying that Sandy is perfect, right? You know what I mean? He had a bad episode.
Rebecca?
We had a bad episode, okay?
This was not a good Sandy episode.
Leading up to... Yes,
I'm just saying.
Did you say it's not a good Sandy episode?
Are you
kidding? God. Oh man. We're having our first fight in the middle of the podcast.
Because I really like Kirsten.
I don't hate Kirsten.
Kirsten is a great first like working mother character for me. Like I remember watching her young.
Yeah.
And being like, you can work and like have a kid and have the life.
Don't be putting words in my mouth. I never said she couldn't have any of those things. Women are amazing at what they do.
But she is a good she lets Sandy do what he wants. And like he lets her do what they want. They just need communication. All she did was like leave something out. But I honestly think
all she's done in like 9 episodes is lie.
It hasn't been 9 episodes.
Well, we're up to 9 episodes, so that's
but like I think if Jimmy had kissed her and not all that other stuff was going on, she would have told Sandy. I think it was because like she couldn't add more to Jimmy's plate. And Jimmy needed a lawyer and Sandy was helping him. Sandy would not have helped him, and then Jimmy would have been like have like lifelong consequences with his children. Because he couldn't afford a lawyer. So, like, how was he going to get legal advice?
How's he going to get legal advice from Sandy, though?
But, like, Sandy isn't. Sandy helped him find an SEC lawyer. Sandy's helping him with, like, a divorce lawyer. Like,
I hear you. I just
think if he had kissed him and he wasn't getting a divorce and there wasn't
lied about giving $100,000.
She didn't lie. She just didn't tell him.
She did exactly.
No, but like she didn't
hiding it. I apologize.
It wasn't like he asked her and she said no. Like the second he found out, she's like, "Let me explain."
Yeah, explain. It's my money.
I just think you're a Kirsten hater.
Oh man. All right. Where were we at? Oh, we're transitioning now into they are walking Seth and Summer are walking down the steps into school or into the
school. The school is nicer than like the college I went to. Like
they're walking down the steps of Harbor High.
No.
And
Harbor.
They're walking down the steps there and he said she's so mean to him. He said that if you cared to join me for lunch today, I can arrange an open chair for you. And she said there's nothing but empty chairs at your table.
So mean. So such a burn.
And then Anna's back.
Welcome
back, Anna. Shout out.
She literally was like one episode.
My good friend Samira Armstrong.
She's in one episode, disappeared. I was like, where is Anna?
Like 4 or 5 episodes?
The last one she's in was like Cotillion, and then she kind of disappeared. And I was like, where is Anna?
Yeah, now she's back. Episode 4, and she's back in episode 9. That's kind of weird. Considering she played such a pivotal role in that episode.
It was really weird. But she's back.
Great banter between Summer and Anna. I love their chemistry that they have together. You know, obviously it's that hate chemistry, but I love the chemistry between
it's really funny.
Bilson and Armstrong there because they're witty. Because as soon as she comes down the step, you interrupted me. You know what I mean? And then Anna hits her with, well, if you interrupt him with insults, blah blah blah. It was pretty
funny.
I'll tell you what. That's one thing. Not to say that, but I feel like Anna's character really brings a different dynamic to the show that I think really kind of livens up the episode. Because you have Marissa, you have the kind of goody two shoes, and then you have Summer, who's just Summer. It's nice to have a different personality within our branch of main characters for the time being. Yeah.
It's like they heighten the whole she's from the East Coast and not from the West Coast.
Absolutely. This is where we transition into the lawyer, Rachel. Once Sandy.
I can't wait for you to be like, go Rachel, screw Kirsten. Like, the Balboa wetlands.
Wait till you hear who my MVP is. No,
if it's Rachel, I will.
Okay, I'm kidding, or am I? All right, so Rachel wants Sandy to take on the case. Obviously, it's her dad's associate. Obviously, we've got some juicy details to come. Sandy questioning things like I would as well. You know, is this the only reason you brought me on? And of course, she says no, which I don't really believe her. But you know what I mean? It is what it is. So the interesting dynamic here is this, right? We know how much Sandy hates Kirsten's dad, right?
She even brings it up. She's like, they like you because you hate him so much. And I'm like, how do people know that you hate your father-in-law?
It's kind of weird because he's very nice to him in public.
Yeah.
Nice to him out and about. The only person that really knows is Kirsten. Is Kirsten and obviously Seth, you know what I mean? But outside of that.
But even with Seth, he's like nice to him in front of Seth. It's just like,
well, yeah,
when they think Seth's not around, but everybody knows like your kids overhear stuff like that.
Seth overhears everything.
Yeah, Seth like can hear me right now.
Exactly.
Like,
it's creepy when you're listening. But yeah,
it's really weird.
Right. It is because
like there's no way this is not the largest conflict of interest ever
in the history of history.
Because like this is what really bothers. Like I don't have a problem with Rachel, but I have a problem with like she's just like kind of like, who cares about your wife? And I'm like, it's his wife. They have a child together. They just took in another child. Like, Maybe he cares about his wife because it's his family. Like,
absolutely agree with
but
that.
she's like, it's not Kirsten's company, it's her father's company. And I'm like, okay, but like she's kind of running it while her dad is like dating 22-year-olds.
Also,
Like,
very
come
true.
on.
You're making strong cases right now for your hatred for
Pro,
Rachel.
but I don't hate her. I just think like she's
She's a little sleazy.
she's just written very much in the sense of like she's trying to have an affair with a married man.
Yeah.
And it's like, because like later on they kind of like rewrite her and she's not as sleazy, and I like that better. But right now she's written very like, screw your wife. Like, I hate it. It drives me nuts. But she is so like, it's not Kirsten's company, it's her father's company, and you hate him. And I'm like, and then she's like, and the wetlands understand that you hate him. And I'm like, how? How do they know that? It's so weird.
Blew up the whole dynamic within a matter of 5 seconds.
And if Kirsten is not part of it and he doesn't have to worry about Kirsten being involved, then how come in the next episode, which I haven't watched yet, but I vividly remember, Kirsten's in the room when they're all negotiating? Why is she there if it doesn't affect her?
Exactly.
It's so dumb. Also, like, where are the Balboa wetlands? Like,
exactly. Oh, yeah. It's interesting.
What is a swamp rose?
Yeah, exactly.
He's like talking about the ecosystem. He's like, there's swamp roses there. I'm like, what is a swamp rose? I'm gonna Google it. Never seen a swamp rose.
No. We transitioned to Anna and Seth again. I think they're just adorable together, right? They have a dynamic about them that's cute, and I like that. You know what I mean? I really, oh God, I dropped my phone. I really enjoy their dynamic together. So we have a little moment between them, and of course, Marissa bails on Ryan again, which is extremely sad.
It's so sad. It makes me like so uncomfortable because sad Ryan just like really kills me.
Yeah, he's got those puppy dog eyes that really just kind of make me sad, and it's really, really, really sad, and it's depressing, and it's awful.
Yeah, like I just want to like make him feel better because he like has this look in his eyes. I'm like, poor Ryan. I hate it so much.
Yeah, it's quite depressing to just kind of watch it. But I will say this. I will say one thing about this real quick, though. I will say that this was single-handedly probably the best Marissa moment we've ever had, because she made a decision for herself. And that's one of the first times that she's really kind of done that in the entire time that we've watched the show. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
She really was like, no, I need to do this for me.
Yes, and this shows you that Julie Cooper is the worst because she's not even in this episode, which is so bizarre. But Dr. Kim gives her this really great advice, and Dr. Kim isn't like looking down on Marissa for like having this overdose or her dad's problems or whatever that everyone else is looking down on Marissa for. She's like, you're a person, like just do, like you go to school here. This is your life. Like you want to quit this, like that will change where you go to college, like all this stuff. And Marissa really responds to a woman being positive to her. And if that's the way that Julie would parent her, maybe a lot of this other stuff wouldn't have been happening to Marissa. But Marissa didn't have that around her. And I think that's why she really does turn around and make like a better decision, because like someone is being positive and on Marissa's side and not like yelling at Marissa, like you're lazy for quitting. Like she's like, listen, you can quit or you can keep going and have better things for yourself.
Exactly. She knows she doesn't hold Marissa accountable for the actions of her parents, right? You know what I mean? A lot of what the downfall of what she's going through, partly some of her fault, obviously, with the boyfriend dynamic, but at the same time, like her parents are going through a divorce and her very publicly known issues with her father and all this stuff. So it's not really held against her, which is really nice. And I just like that moment, because for me, it was like I am... You know, it's just, I am me. You know what I mean? Like this is about Marissa. I want Marissa. She thought about herself, which was nice. You know what I mean? So then we transition to Sandy and Ryan talking.
Which is so funny. I love when Ryan goes, Seth has his women. Because he's like talking to Sandy about things. And he's like, why aren't you talking to Seth about this? He's like, Seth has his women. He's like, Seth Cohen? Like, it's so funny. Because like they have like cute father-son moments, but like you could tell Sandy was like a little caught off guard. He's like really like opening up to him. And it was just really funny for him to be like, Seth has his women. He's like, Seth Cohen? He couldn't believe it.
He thought he was talking about somebody else. Definitely not his son there at all.
It was so funny.
Yeah, it was great. And then we transition into Luke showing up to
I almost made Jimmy my MVP of the episode because
just
of
for
this
this
moment.
scene.
Just for this scene. I didn't do it, but I almost did it because like it was so great. It was really well executed.
And can we talk about the nerve of Luke saying if anybody knows anything about being in the doghouse? He literally just said that.
Did I miss like a couple episodes or something? Because I've never seen Summer so comfortable joking around with Jimmy. And then 10 minutes later, we got Luke joking around with Jimmy.
Everybody wants to beat on Jimmy. Like that's what this is. It's like a beat on Jimmy show. It's
really weird. It made me so uncomfortable. And I love that Jimmy was like, just don't say it.
Yeah.
Don't say it. And I was like, why would you even start to say this?
And it's not like it's not like two grown men talking. It's not like it's Sandy and Jimmy talking there, right?
Like
you know what I mean?
Even if Sandy said it, I would be uncomfortable. But like Sandy's married and kind of has like this other layer of understanding. Like
exactly.
And like you don't say that to someone when you're dating their daughter. Like,
it was like whenever he said
like you caused all this hurt to his daughter.
Exactly. And like it dates back to the stupidest things he says because like in the middle of when they were having lunch that day and he said something about how Jimmy stole all that money from everybody, you know, in the middle of lunch with Marissa. It's like dude has no filter at all. You're trying to win her back right now. This is not it, my man.
Not how you do it. And my favorite part is like he definitely knew Marissa was there. So he like definitely knew Marissa could hear him.
Absolutely.
It was really weird. It was really weird. But like Jimmy, like with the strong flex, was like made fun of his burning the French toast and was like, "We're gonna have cereal today." And I was like, "Good call, Jimmy."
Exactly.
Good call. Really funny.
You got smart. So this is something that I found interesting. I've heard it a couple times in the episode, but I finally felt the need to point it out. I love the transition of the subtle tone of the score, the little sounds in the background. How it swiftly changes to this sweet and subtle and soft and warm little lovey-dovey, you know, moment that we have. Obviously, when that happens, you know you're getting Ryan Marissa, right? You know you're getting it. But I love how it makes their moments together feel so important.
Yeah.
Right? You know what I mean? Like it enhances because
it calls your attention to like
exactly
what's about to happen.
I'm watching the episode and I'm doing some stuff at the same time, obviously, right? You know, but you hear like I could hear that subtle switch and I rewound it and I was like, wait a minute. So then I hear it and then obviously not to get too far ahead, but you transition into a moment with Seth, right? And it goes from this sweet, somber, lovey-dovey to this upbeat tempo that's kind of faster that you get the dynamic of okay, we're transitioning into Seth now. But I love the utilization of the score to make it feel like every moment between Ryan and Marissa is what we're hoping for it to be. It doesn't always end up that way, but the score is just it's like the little things that the show does right that I love.
I love it. Yeah, I love their little theme music. It's so cute.
It really is.
Like it's really pure. And it's just like this extra detail that like just makes this show so much better.
This show should not have these details, right?
No,
it should not.
It's so weird because I was trying because like I really like Gossip Girl also, but not the same way I like this show. But it's the same creators and stuff, but it does not have that layer like of detail to the show. And I'm like, that's why we all like the OC so much because it's more than it has to be. Like the show could easily be like a teen soap opera, but it's not. It's much more than that. Because of little details like this.
Absolutely.
Also, to reiterate Marissa's question to Ryan here, where she lies to him.
Yes.
Just want to point that out. She lied. She pulled what you think Kirsten does. Cotton candy or funnel cake?
Cotton candy. Oh, it's definitely funnel cake.
Okay, yeah, me too. Because they both say cotton candy for sure. And I was like, what are you talking about?
It's definitely
funnel cake.
Yeah,
I mean, like it's so much
close.
Better. No, like I like cotton candy. Like
if
someone was like, "Do you want cotton candy right now?" I'd be like, "Yeah, go get it." But like, if you gave me a choice between cotton candy and funnel cake, I'm picking funnel cake.
Yeah, 10 out of 10 times.
So yeah, Marissa and Ryan are like one of my favorite couples on the show, but I'm gonna give them both 2 thumbs down right now for voting cotton candy.
Yeah.
Do not understand it.
Is
it because it's like a cuter thing to eat? Like funnel cake is messy and like
I don't know, but cotton candy's super sticky though.
Yeah, I guess Oliver, like you do that thing with your fingers where they can like get stuck together. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, this is a weird call.
It really is because, like, to me personally, like if I'm walking up and I have the choice between the two, 10 out of 10 times. It's
yeah. Also, like, who just straight up just picks those two? Like, what about churros? Like, you just skipped the best fair food of all time. Exactly. Like, what's going on here?
Right.
Whoever wrote this episode has never been to a carnival.
To a fair. Nowadays, it would have been like,
cronut, like
funnel cakes or deep fried Oreos.
Oh my god. Being from Texas, like the state fair, like they fry everything. Like fried butter on a stick. Oreo? I've only had it once and it was life-changing, but I had it at like some fancy restaurant, not like a fair. So I can't imagine them at a fair because I know it'd be way better.
Oh, absolutely.
I had them at like some like I had it at like some fancy restaurant. It was like all like pretty, and I was like, "This is not what a deep fried Oreo is." Because I grew up in Texas.
The dough looks probably perfect. Whenever on your plate, it probably looked perfect. It's like
it wasn't like where like they give it to you and it's still like dripping and like
exactly.
But like I never went to the state fair growing up because I'm from Texas, and like the state fair there is like the biggest deal in the world. But I only ever went to like I remember one time we went to see the Jonas Brothers because they're like from there and they played the state fair before they were very famous. And I remember that, and I didn't try any of the food because I was vegan growing up. Didn't try anything like that. Just not my thing. But now that I'm older and like I can't really eat fried foods because my body is like absolutely not. All I want is a deep fried Oreo.
Exactly.
But when I could eat it and it didn't affect my body, like I'd stayed like 90 pounds. I was like, no deep fried Oreos.
Stay away.
Now it's all I want.
Deep fried Oreos.
So Marissa Cooper, if you're putting together another fair, deep fried Oreos, funnel cakes, and no Ferris wheel.
Yes. Yes. Definitely not. Which we'll get to in a little bit. Okay, so we get the dynamic. We're at the science table now, right?
So funny.
Seth, obviously Anna's sitting down. Seth goes to sit next to her, right? He oddly enough, hasn't sat down yet, right?
That was like a really weird thing. Like I wonder if they filmed that scene a bunch and it like wasn't working and they were like, oh my God, just finish taping this. Because like he would have sat down already, you know?
100% by now.
Like it was kind of
way too long.
I bet this was like maybe David Fincher did this episode. It was like take 55 and they were like, oh, he was like, I can't do it. Like
splice together whatever we got. But then of course
you could tell he was like waiting for her to come in. It was really weird.
It was a weird like 5-second pause that it didn't need to be.
Was this like I just don't understand. Don't people like communicate like, oh my God, I have class with so and so, and then like he didn't know. There's no way Seth Cohen didn't know Summer was in that class.
So exactly, because he would have.
He probably paid someone to get like her copy of her schedule. Like,
well, not just that, he would have like had an open seat waiting for her, and she would have walked in the door. Summer,
here, Summer.
Empty spot on my table.
I mean, technically, that is what happened.
Well, yeah,
that's why I was standing.
I mean, he does end up giving his seat up to sit next to Anna to her because obviously it's Summer. And then Anna, the aggression of her towards Seth is so funny because Seth doesn't really understand girls, right? You know what I mean? He's only ever had this mad obsession with Summer since he was a young lad. And
a young lad.
I don't know what.
I didn't know. I was watching Game of Thrones. Oh my God.
Daenerys and
oh man.
Oh. All right. So Anna and Seth, right? So that I love the way she just kind of like, no, get your ass over here and sit down. You're gonna sit down. You're gonna have a half a cheek on no teacher would have been okay with that.
No, and like they didn't show you the rest of the room. They just showed you like the direct eye line between Seth to where Summer walks in. But I'm like, I have like every time I was in high school, there was at least one desk empty because they always made sure there was like an extra seat or whatever. Right. And like that was the whole thing. Like if you got in trouble, like you had to go sit somewhere else, and you can't do that if you don't even have enough room for. And this is a private school.
Harbor High has too many kids.
But their class sizes were pretty big. Like I was confused because when they show you Luke and Ryan in the same class, like the table's really small. They're all together. And I was like, there's like, what, 15 kids in that class? And then they show you this class with Seth, Summer, and Anna, and there's like 35 kids. I'm like, what is going on at this school with its class sizes?
It makes zero sense. Like the dynamic is stranger than strange at this particular moment.
It's very weird.
So obviously we have that moment, and then we transition to the Sandy and Kirsten battle. I will let you take the floor.
Oh, thank you. So I can defend Kirsten. So she like she's already in his office, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Sandy, they're supposed to have lunch. They're supposed to have lunch together. And she throws
a paper bag at him. And he's like, at least it's not coal. Can we both admit, like, I will admit it, but you also have to admit it. Sandy is in the wrong here. Sandy should have told her.
Yes. I mean, I will agree. I have a strong opinion about Miss I Hide Everything Kirsten. So I can't be a hypocrite here and say that I do agree with his decision to wait as long as he did. I do believe that he was going to have the conversation at said lunch.
But he knew she was going to find out.
But yeah, I don't know if he thought that it was going to be as willy-nilly as fast as I'm not making excuses for him. What I'm saying is, Kenzie, you are right. I agree with you. Is that better?
Yeah, it's a lot better. Okay. Kirsten is in the right. And we'll just say anytime you say Kenzie, you mean Kirsten. So no, she's very upset. She's like, and she's more upset that she found out from her dad, or not her dad, like her position. And she's like, now I have to go keep this from off my dad's radar. And it's like, I think it's extra layered because Sandy knows how Caleb Nichols is. And like, he's so mean to Kirsten already. Like, this is just going to add another thing for Kirsten to deal with from Dragon Man. And I don't like it. And it's very like un-Sandy-like. Like I know the case itself, they're letting us they're telling us this is a very Sandy case or whatever.
Sure. Which he explains why.
Yeah, no, and it's like Kirsten recognizes that. Like we'll get to that at the end, but like there's the whole situation of like hiding it and letting it like fester and like get to be like an issue. It's so un-Sandy-like. Like Sandy normally is like so like, did you want to know what I ate for breakfast? Like, you want to know what I did? Like, surfing was this. Like, but he's been very secretive about this new job. Like, from like getting the surfboard to the very beginning, like meeting with them. Like, he's been very secretive since he started talking to this like company. Do you know what I mean?
I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying.
Yeah. Also, Sandy always surfed in the morning because he was like, I am a district attorney and like I have so much free time. And then when he took this job, they're like, you can't really surf anymore because you're going to have a full-time job. But he still goes surfing every morning.
Speaking of which, I would like to point out a callback from earlier in the conversations that we were having. Do you remember the scene now where Sandy and Kirsten say, we used to have our mornings together? When did this happen again? Because he does surfing every morning. Because
they're always like having coffee and he comes in and his hair's wet and she's like, how was surfing? And I'm like, so when were your mornings like at 4 a.m.? Like, and like, no, that's just, nobody is like having romantic mornings. Come on. Like, if you told me it was like 3 a.m. before they went to bed or something, I'd be like, sure, but that would be like night. That wouldn't be morning. Like, I don't know. I just don't. There's some weird call outs in this episode. But Kirsten leaves. I really wish Rachel had come in. That would have been really funny. That would have just made the situation so like, she's like, oh, hey, I didn't know you would be here. Did you hear about that case I gave Sandy?
Yeah, that would have been juicy. Oh, it's a missed opportunity.
It would have happened if it was like the Real Housewives of Orange County, but not the OC.
Obviously, we have our newly acquainted soccer player.
I like that they're the same position.
Yes, it's
Like, of course, Ryan has to go out for the same position as Luke.
obviously. We get a little, just a little taste of what is ahead on the soccer field, which then transitions into the little mini date that Marissa and Ryan were supposed to have, which obviously is interrupted by Luke, because anytime anything good is happening between Ryan and Marissa,
Luke appears.
Luke always appears, always.
I hate him.
He breaks down and cries. Tells her, he loves her. It's very sweet. I love the scene here, right? Because they give you a feel. The camera work was impeccable. You see Ryan a little bit, then you don't see Ryan, and then you see Marissa start to cry a little bit. So you're getting it in your head. You're like, oh man, she's gonna take.
He can't hear, but it looks really bad from Ryan's angle.
Right, and she's like, maybe Marissa's gonna take him back. She looks like she's crying. She says like this sympathetic thing. And then he tells her he loves her. And it's just like, to me, it was like, wow, that's a cheap shot. Even though I was screwing around with all these other girls, I still love you though. Like,
my favorite part is when he's like, I just want to know what you're thinking. And she's like, believe me, you don't want to know what I'm thinking. I was like, wow. And then he follows it up with, I'm sorry. And she's like, I don't care. And I was like, okay, whoa.
Get it, Coop.
And then, he's like, I love you. And she's like, well, if I hadn't caught you, the sad thing is I would still love you. And I was like, oh my God.
Drop that mic, Marissa.
It was literally like left hook, right hook, like groin kick. It was just like one after another. I was like, Dr. Kim just set a fire under this girl. Like 100%. It was really satisfying.
Another great moment in the episode for Marissa. Stood up for herself before, said she needs to focus on herself, and then just completely knocked out Luke. It
was great. I just love it because he's like crying, like you said. He's being all emotional. And she's like, I don't care.
Exactly. She's like, you know what? I really don't care what you got to say.
Too little, too late.
Exactly.
Like, it was really great. But it still made me really sad because sad Ryan, like, just
he's upset again because he can't really necessarily hear everything that's going on. He can just see having a moment. It does not look like it's going to go in the favor of Ryan Atwood, which there's a thing on this show about women keeping things from men. It's really depressing. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Kind of. All right. So we transition into the worst. Can't really talk about nice about Sandy, and here we go. We transition into the fact that Rachel plastered this lawsuit on the front page of the local newspaper.
I paused it so I could read the paper. It's like saying like this gets personal.
Yes.
And I'm like, and then I paused it because all I saw was battle over the wetlands gets personal. And I paused it, and it's literally like husband throwing down with. I'm like, husband throwing down, you could tell that this was leaked by Her Highness Rachel.
Well, not only that, you could tell that these are the same writers that write a lot of the headlines today in the world news, and that's why we have half the problems we do.
It was so personal. Hilarious. I was like, what is going on? And who cares? You know what I mean? Who gets their morning paper and it's I care that my neighbors are fighting.
Well, you got to remember, he owns the city, so
I guess, but
really gonna care about them.
But do people care about Kirsten? I would care about Caleb. You know what I mean? But I wouldn't care about Kirsten because we're led to believe that people don't understand Kirsten is running this company. You know?
That's a good point. But they are married, so the dynamic's interesting.
It was really funny though because it was just he comes back from surfing, he's still in his car getting stuff out. And Kirsten was waiting for this guy to get home. Let me tell you, she was waiting with that paper. Yes. And she came out a flying and throws the paper at him. So dramatic, so upset that their dirty laundry is just there for everyone to read.
Yeah, which it is somewhat of an issue. You know what I mean? This is not Sandy's fault. This is more of a Rachel trying to get into the divide and conquer of the dynamic here. Obviously, he did not help the situation by taking the case, but Kirsten isn't exactly perfect either. So, so we're going back and forth. Let's see here. So we have a moment which I thought was hilarious between Ryan and Seth.
With his morning ritual.
Yes, with his morning ritual.
Coffee, bagel, arts and leisure. When I was a kid, my dad used to give me the arts and leisure section of his newspaper. So I was like, that's really funny. Like, I wonder if that's where I got it.
Could be.
Like, I watched the show growing up. Like, I don't. But I just remember, like, my dad used to hand me that section of the paper.
Probably because it was
always with iced coffee, not hot coffee.
Yes.
I don't care about hot coffee.
Yeah, me neither.
We just
alienated half the world.
No. Guys, I'm sorry. COVID has burnt all of the hot coffee cups in the world. There is only iced coffee moving forward.
100%.
That makes zero sense, but I am a scientist, believe me.
You sound like half of Facebook. But seriously, like, honestly. So also, if you're listening, Dunkin' Donuts, please sponsor the show.
Yes.
Yes. So the funny dynamic real quick that I wanted to say, obviously he's trying to get Ryan to talk. Ryan doesn't really talk. Ryan's reserved, et cetera, et cetera.
And he's like, you're about to say something.
And he said, I saw words percolating.
So funny.
I just thought it was hilarious that he probably said a word that Ryan doesn't even understand or comprehend. I'm not to say anything bad about Ryan, but I'm just saying, like, it was just funny. They go back and forth. We transitioned into Marissa and Summer talking, and we have old Summer back. Shouldn't I just be honest, Summer? No.
But okay, hear me out. At this point in time, I kind of understand what Summer's saying. Like, she isn't dating Ryan. Like, because Summer goes, you haven't even gone on one date with him. Like, you don't owe him anything. I do think when Ryan brought up, what were you doing? Marissa should have said something. But in this instance, like, Summer's just saying, like, don't go out of your way to scare him away if you like him. Yeah. Because, like, they're also, like, teenagers. So it's not like,
I agree 100%.
It's not like Sandy and Kirsten and Jimmy. Like, this is a little, like if she was dating Ryan, yes.
It's a whole different story. Right. Yeah, for sure. But
like,
that's the thing. But you're right, though. As soon as she puts him as soon as he puts her on the spot,
that's when she kind of messed up, and that wasn't Summer. That was Marissa. And you know, that's not the same at all.
I do. It's hilarious because the fact that they both just straight lie to each other. They're both guilty here because she kind of asked him.
He could have been like, I showed up.
Right, and I saw you with Luke, which is weird because it's like, put yourself in both situations here.
I kind of understand both of them.
Right, exactly.
It's new. Like, it's not like they know how the other one's gonna react. Like, it's a tough situation.
It's the thing about it is I hate stuff like that, right? I hate putting somebody that you care about in a predicament where you're gonna force them to lie to you. Right.
Yeah. And like,
you know what I mean? And that's kind of what Ryan did by saying, oh, what did you do last night? Knowing in the back of your head, you have a 50-50 chance she's going to lie to you.
Yeah.
So if she lies to you, you're going to be mad. Right. But if she tells the truth, obviously a different story, 50-50 proposition. But you're setting
and like, what do you say if she tells you the truth? Like, I talked to Luke. Like, how did that go? Because like previously when she's been like, I'm trying to choose between you and Luke, he's like all grumpy. So I'm like, I kind of don't blame her for not saying anything. It's like not the best, but I understand.
Exactly. 100% agree. Because it doesn't make any, like, I hate that. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is about it that I hate so much. I'm passionate. I hate it.
Like, just that whole where you're just starting to talk to someone, you don't really like have a definition of your relationship with someone. Like, you don't know them yet. You don't know how they're going to react to things. Like, she's only had a couple instances with Ryan and like Luke, and it's just like, it's a new situation. She's like waiting the waters out. Like, it's interesting. I'm not happy of the way either of them behaved, but I understand both of them.
Exactly. Look at that. We can agree there. We can agree on this topic. I do love that Anna is having so much fun with Summer. I just feel
it's really funny. She's like, it's so funny because she literally goes, Seth, I don't know how girls like Summer think, but then she does.
Yes. She does. She says that one way, and throughout the episode, especially towards the end of the episode,
Mhm.
she knows. You can tell. What she's. She knows what she's up to.
Yeah.
She knows what she's doing.
Because when
what I
she's
mean?
like, they're dissecting, which is very rare because we're made to believe it's like the third day of school and they're already doing dissections. That's not how school works. No, there's like a whole permission slip doing dissections. Because I was vegan in high school and I never did any dissections. I always had my parents sign me out of it because I refused.
Yeah.
But you don't ever do it like the first week. It's like a whole thing you build up to. It's very weird that they're doing this like the
I'm
third day.
terrified of frogs, so I wouldn't do it.
We did my school did everything. We did like cow eyeballs, pig's hearts, frogs. Like there were so many dissections.
Let's teach our kids how to dissect animals instead of, I don't know, maybe how to do their taxes.
Yeah. But I literally remember always getting letters to get out of it because I was vegan and I was like, I'll sue the school if you guys force me to do it. But she's fantastic. She's like a scalpel, so dramatic. And then she's like, what should we start with? And she's like, the heart. And Summer's rolling her eyes,
so dramatic.
She just knew how to push her buttons, and it was really funny.
So dramatic for no reason at all.
I love it.
Then we have an instance here with Sandy and his friendly coworker.
She calls him Sanford, which is so funny. I was like, what? Kirsten doesn't call him that. What's going on? It was really weird.
And she says the line of the episode, if your marriage can't survive this, what kind of marriage is this?
It's so icky the way she's written. It makes me so uncomfortable.
No
one would say that to someone.
She subtly, the way she says it, they try to make it this sexualized thing, right?
But and it's that's not
so
how her
weird.
There's a brief moment in a future episode where she is written to be overtly sexual and then kind of changes course and becomes more friendly. But she's actually just trying to do her job and trying to get Sandy to do the work he wants to do. And I'm like, that's fine. I just don't like when she's pushing the boundaries of their relationship or commenting on his marriage. And it's just so icky. I hate it so much. It makes me really uncomfortable.
Can I stand up for Rachel for just a moment?
No, I like Rachel. I just don't like the way she's written.
I know. I just want to stand up for her in this particular moment. Yes. I'm not saying it's not icky. It is. Okay, let me stop by saying that right there. It is. But put yourself in her shoes at the same time. Take the sexual tension out of the room for just a minute. She's trying to rile up her lawyer.
Yeah, so that case. I'm okay with. I just don't like the way the writers make it a sexual thing.
The way she said it, her voice kind of changed a little bit. It was like, if your marriage can't survive this, what kind of marriage is it?
But I bet you anything when they were rehearsing it, they were make it more sexual. Because and I don't like that.
You're a sex phone operator. You know what I mean? When you say
I don't like that. Let her just be trying to get her because I personally think
you're trying to throw those subtle hints into you the last couple episodes that she's trying to get into Sandy's pants, which you know what I mean.
It's the eyebrows.
Go Sandy.
No one can resist them.
Kidding.
Don't encourage that.
I'm not.
You're screw Kirsten for someone else kissing her, but Sandy, you're have an affair.
No, it's not. Oh my God.
I'm just kidding. That was really funny. You just backed yourself into that corner, and I had to take my shot. I'm sorry.
Oh, that was a home run.
It was good. But I just also okay. They were having a meeting, right? The lawyers at the office, and everyone was leaving. And then Sandy came in holding his briefcase. So he had not yet been to his office to drop it off. Why is Sandy getting to a new job so late in the morning?
Maybe he had his notes with him. He's never at work when you think that he would be at work.
No.
But then he has his work meetings. You know what I mean?
He's weird.
I need his job where you show up whenever you want, leave whenever you want. It seems like that's the way to go. Obviously, then we transition into a little bit of a soccer moment. Ryan takes out Luke because he sees Luke and Marissa being mushy on the sidelines, but also saw them the day before him having a moment where he thinks
So,
that
like, with the context Ryan's like, this is not great.
I'm just going to kill him is basically his mind frame, which is so weird how that whole dynamic happened. And then, of course, Ryan gets in trouble. And then, Marissa kind of storms off being Marissa. And then we get a transition into the most awkward dinner in the history of...
It's so uncomfortable.
Wait a minute. It's not even the most awkward dinner of this show. But most awkward dinner in this episode. Sandy, Kirsten, obviously we're at the table. We'll set the scene for you guys. Sandy and Kirsten at the table. We have Ryan at the table. We have Seth at the table. Sandy and Kirsten obviously are beefing right now.
Super beefing.
Question, I don't understand how our kids don't know that they're beefing because it's on the front page of the newspaper. It would have been talked about at school, et cetera, et cetera. I know how school works.
It's very weird.
So
especially a private school.
Right. And they're playing they're playing it off that they don't even really know anything at all. Like they don't you can tell.
But maybe Seth, also Seth had the paper in the morning.
Right.
And it was on the front page. So even if you took out the arts and leisure section, like, wouldn't you notice like your parents' name or like your dad, like your grandpa's company on the
plastered front page? And then
plot hole.
So obviously Ryan is upset because, Marissa, Luke, he's also in fear of getting in trouble at school. And then I love the fact that when Seth is just trying to be a chatterbox and then like he says, "Hey, Mom," and Kirsten just looks at him with this like death stare. It's so funny.
Especially because in the very beginning of the episode, Seth would try to just look at his mom to get her to stop talking. Yeah. And she wouldn't stop. And then he's like, when Ryan comes in, he's like, "Good morning." And Ryan just looks at him and he's like, "How do you do that? Convey like a sentence with just a look."
Exactly.
And it's like everyone around Seth can do that except Seth.
Yes.
But as the chatterbox of my family, I know what it's like to like try to talk to everyone at a dinner table and everyone be like grumpy and ignore you.
Oh, absolutely. 100%.
I know that feeling. I think I'm the Seth Cohen of my family.
I like it. Seth Cohen's awesome. Sandy and his Papa Bear speech, as I wrote down.
It's very cute.
It was beautiful.
And like you kind of have gotten used to Ryan being in their family to where you kind of forget the stakes of like, Ryan, if you like get into a fight at school, like they can take you away from us. So it's kind of like reminding you like, yeah, we're 9 episodes in and he's been living with them for like 4 episodes, but like they're like, listen, it's still a stake. Like you gotta still relax.
We still need you to, behave like you promised whenever you can. And I do love the little moment he had. He says, Seth never really played sports. So it'd be nice to be able to go to your games and watch you play. I was like, oh.
It was really cute.
There's Daddy going.
Especially in the very beginning when he was like, you should join fencing or you should do the archery team. And Seth was like, we have a chance to have an athlete in the Cohen family. He's like, this is not me, Sam. Like, this is not me. This is Ryan we're talking about. And Ryan's like, I like soccer. And they're like, yes, soccer, not archery. Not whatever weird other sport Sandy mentioned.
Exactly.
Because he was so used to suggesting like activities for Seth that he was like not used to being able to be like, go play soccer. Like,
go do something athletic.
Yeah.
For the second time in this episode, Sandy and Kirsten are getting ready to do the deed, and they're interrupted by phone calls. Both parties again getting the phone calls. One's Daddy. The other one.
I wish, I think a major low point of this episode was us not getting to see Caleb finding out Sandy
100%.
was representing because like Caleb is one of the best written like bad guys on a show and I would have really liked to see his reaction.
You could have done a little phone call. Hey.
The split screen thing, I would have been fine with it just because I just want to see it.
Him just going off the deep end. Because he would have. He would have called Sandy every name in the book.
I think he would have done that privately, but I think to Kirsten, he would have just been like really cold and like calculated and like.
You need to get a hold of your husband.
Yeah, like he wouldn't have been like really dirtbaggy. He would have just been like cold. And that's what makes him such a great bad guy. And I miss him. When's he coming back? Is he in the next episode? He better be.
I don't know. I can find out while we're looking. Obviously, we transition into the world's worst fair because they picked cotton candy over
funnel cakes. Just but not great.
Again,
also, what fair has won?
Yeah, I don't. you walk up to the little thing and you get all of it, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah, come on.
It doesn't make any sense to me. No, he's not in the next. Oh yeah, he is in the next episode. I see him.
Yes.
Sorry,
So I'm the only person actively being like, "Where's Caleb?"
Exactly.
He's just so enjoyable.
I wrote this down like so many different times. Like Anna and Seth, chemistry is so good. Seth and Anna are so cute together. So I love this moment. Obviously, we have the Ferris wheel moment, as I will like to call it, right?
Oh my god, you know what I wrote down though? I really like Ryan and Anna.
Oh, they're cute. They have a cute dynamic together. Yeah.
When Ryan kind of calls Anna out, like,
Yeah.
"Hey, I know you like Seth. Like, what are you doing? Like, trying to help him with Summer." I really like that moment because you never really see them interact. Like, you know how we've always talked about how cute Seth and Marissa are?
Yeah.
Like, with their little cute interactions. You never see stuff like that. And I like the idea of, like, Ryan and Seth are best friends. So, like, therefore, they're going to be friends with whoever they're interested in. And I like seeing that because it's like sometimes it's awkward, but like Ryan's really like funny. They just don't let Ryan be funny.
Oh, 100%. Like even
because he kind of like twists Anna's words that like Anna says about like Seth. Like he's like talking about like girls don't like guys that like are like chasing them. Like they want guys that are like aren't interested in them. And like Ryan says that about Anna with Seth. And it's really funny because I'm like, he's never funny. Like let this guy make jokes. Like,
exactly.
It was really cute.
I love it.
And Ryan apologizing to Luke.
Right. Oh yeah. As they're getting ready to go onto the thing.
It was so awkward because he's making his way to the Ferris wheel to see Marissa.
To get
so
his
you
woman.
can see Marissa with Summer.
Yep.
It was really weird the way they're just standing there. But
waiting to get on the ride.
Luke is in the way and Ryan just stares at him and then he's like, "I'm sorry about yesterday." And I was like, that's very kind of him. I admired that.
Exactly. That's grown up Ryan.
We like it.
On his way to take Luke's woman, though.
I like it because then Luke doesn't respond. He just like moves out of the way, and Ryan.
He knows. He just knows, though, right? You know what I mean?
It's too far. It's too much has happened. Like
you literally tried to cheat on her doggy.
Yeah. It's time is over.
Yeah, especially since we know what happens in the future as well. But
oh my god.
I love how quick Summer just bails on Marissa out of left field. Like Ryan walks up, just ask her for her place on the Ferris wheel, and Summer's just like, "I'm not dealing with this," and then just walks away. Like, what?
I think because like Summer's probably like they do need to talk it out. You know what I mean? Like,
for sure.
And it's like dramatic and cheesy that they're on a Ferris wheel. Like, I kind of like at this point, not when the show aired, but I think like now Ferris wheels are like kind of like drawn out. Like, I get it.
Yeah.
But like, it does give them a chance to be like alone and no one interfering.
For sure.
And like, they rarely have any time alone. Like, there's always something else going on. Like, when they were in Tijuana, there's other stuff going on. Like, all this, there's always so much happening around them, and they're never really just like them. And it was like Summer was like, Jesus, just like talk, work it out. Like, if you're going to end up together, talk about it. If you're done, talk about it. Like, I'm done. It was really funny. Summer had a weird episode. She was like better, but not great. Do you know what I mean?
She had highs and lows, right?
Yeah, it was really weird. Like she like balanced herself out, but I was like, just pick one.
Very we want good written Summer at the same like all throughout an entire episode. Like,
just one episode at this point.
We beg.
I wonder how many she gets this season. You should have been writing it down, like tallying it, like Summer good episode, Summer bad episode.
I think she's only had one good episode so far, really, though.
And it probably wasn't even the whole episode.
No, it was just the bits and pieces of her whenever she went to, oh my God. I mean, next we see Anna. She just puts one on Seth, right?
She's like, "I need to tell you something." And he's like, "What?" And then she kisses him.
And lays one on him.
Everyone except Seth thinks it's a real kiss. Anna included.
Mm-hmm.
And then he's like, he sees Summer and he's like, "Was that part of the plan? That was good." And Anna's like, "Yes." And I'm like, no, it was not.
Not at all.
It was
because I don't even think Anna had the opportunity to vet to see Summer was around.
Yeah, I don't think she knew.
She just
it was really sad.
That moment to be for her, and then he
ruined.
Goes and runs to and.
I kind of forgot about all this stuff with like how dumb Seth is. like that all this stuff goes over his head. But I will give him a pass because I think this is like the first time he's ever interacted with a woman.
Exactly. Exactly. That's the big difference is understanding that
he has no experience.
None at all. So I will give him the benefit. But at the same time, like he just gets a big one laid on him and then he sees Summer all by herself. My question is this. Who is volunteering to go on the tilt-a-whirl with someone
that says they're going to throw up?
After they just watched them make out? Like that was so weird. Like you literally just
it was weird. And as Summer, because Summer might not be written as the smartest person, but Summer is socially written smart. So she would know that was fake if he runs over to her immediately.
That's a good point. That's
like,
I didn't look at it that
Summer
way.
Summer is not written very smart, but
I get what you're saying. Yeah, I get what you're saying. I like that.
But it's weird, right? Like she would know, and then she'd just be like, "I won."
Maybe that's the way why she basically invited him to the tilt-a-whirl. You know she did.
But it's just weird because I would be like, if you're so easily being like, "Yeah, I'll go," like you're not with that girl.
Maybe she knows that.
Yeah, but it's weird. I don't like it. It's very like, I don't know.
Yeah, because he goes, he says, I'll go on it with you. I may vomit. I like these odds. I like those odds. What?
It's really funny. It's really weird. Who wants to be vomited on?
I do love whenever Ryan is completely losing his shit over the fact of being
I love when he's like, what kind of carnival is this, Cooper?
And then she sways the thing.
It's so funny.
So good.
I hate Ferris wheels, so I'm on Ryan's side here.
You just don't like heights or just not?
I hate them. I hate heights so much.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so much. I hate them.
Is it because you're so no? But Ryan,
because I still can't legally get on a ride. I don't know. No, I hate them.
Are you even allowed on Space Mountain? I'm
probably not.
I'm so sorry.
I hate Space Mountain because of the dark. I'll establish that. Because you can't see where you're going.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
It makes me nauseous.
The Ferris wheels aren't fun anyway. They're the dumbest rides I've ever It's just not.
There's the one at Disneyland where it the Ferris wheel goes around, and then there's another one going the opposite direction, and then your individual thing swings.
Yeah, that's gonna probably be a no for me.
Yeah, it's a hardcore no for me. Someone tried to get me on it, and I literally had them go backwards so I could get off. I was like, no. So I feel Ryan in the situation.
Obviously, Ryan and Marissa have their moment.
I love it right before. He's like, I don't like to talk about stuff like this, but I like you. And because he was so scared. He's like, just saying it with such slicing.
Right, because you put him, he's in this moment where he's terrified. Obviously Marissa understands that he is terrified of heights as well.
Kind of makes fun of him a little.
Right. So, but at the same time, I think she understands what he did to get on to the Ferris wheel, just to have that moment with her. So she appreciates that, even though she does make fun of him. But at the end, obviously, she, rewards him for his efforts, I guess you could say. And of course, we have our, the makeout scene. You know what I mean? The first time they've ever kissed, right?
I think so, yeah. 9 episodes later.
Even though they should have probably kissed in the pool that we didn't get to see.
Yeah, but, I'm assuming they did. We just missed it.
But so it was a great scene. I like the build up. They did a fantastic job of building this tension up. Again, with the writing, right? You had, the little subtle hint of the, I won't go on the Ferris wheel with you. I'm scared of heights type of situation.
And then later on, it was really cute.
And then he just jumps on there. All right, so it's the time of the day that we like to talk about. Who is Kenzie's MVP?
I went Marissa.
Did you?
Did you?
That's a great pick.
Yeah, I just feel like she really came into her own. She stood up for herself. And I really admire that, finally. I almost picked Jimmy in his PJs, let me tell you.
I almost want to I think there was 2 or 3 people. Almost went Rachel. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. That's my brand now. I'm just going to pick her for everything. No, but for me, it's easily Marissa, right? Marissa, hands down. Once she has that conversation, she really kind of steps on her own. It's first whenever she talks about how she avoids, but not avoids. She dismisses spending time with Ryan, who she really wants to spend time with, to focus on herself.
Yeah.
She has the moment with Luke. The end of the episode was very sweet. You know what I mean? She kind of played that up a little bit. I just feel like she was finding her own in the episode, and it's easily to make her the MVP of the episode.
For sure. I loved her this episode.
Fun fact. What do you got for us?
I want to shout out one quote that I forgot to say.
Oh, yes.
Sandy is like, I've been pissing you off for years. Why should I stop now? I thought that was really funny.
That's fantastic.
It was really good. I couldn't not say it. I have 2 fun facts.
Yeah.
First one, we never see Ryan play soccer again.
Oh.
That whole thing of him joining the soccer team, that was it. Never brought up ever again.
That's fantastic.
And then when Sandy comes with the flowers and sees Kirsten in the hot tub, she's listening to a Solomon Burke song, Don't Give Up on Me. In a future episode, Sandy sings this to Kirsten.
Oh.
Yeah.
I like
it's like their unofficial song. I kind of like it a lot.
I dig it. I dig it a lot.
Yeah. Well, even though Sandy was a turd this episode, I'll give him.
I mean, but was he?
Yes.
First off, quick. Next week's synopsis is the best synopsis I've ever heard in my entire life, and by best, I mean
the worst.
It's terrible.
Oh
folks, do us a favor. Head on over to themusiccitydrivein.com. Kenzie and I write over there. We do some articles. She's been doing some fun OC articles that you can check out on over there. Hey, give Kenzie a follow on Twitter at Kenz Venunu. Give myself a follow at Ricky Valera _. Make sure to subscribe and leave a review for us if you're listening on iTunes.
Yeah.
We greatly appreciate it. Leave us a little 5-star review, or 3-star, or 2-star, or 1-star. And
if you like Kirsten, leave us a 5-star review. That will get us the most 5-star reviews, guaranteed.
But if you're really a big fan of Sandy, give us 5 extra stars.
Yeah.
We want you to comment in the comment section why you wrote your 5-star review.
Yeah. Team Kirsten, Team Sandy.
That's going to be a new thing.
Oh my God.
That's fantastic. But like I said, thank you so much for listening each and every week, guys. We really do appreciate your guys' support. It is amazing, and we are grateful for it. So thanks for tuning in to another episode of the OC Podcast. And until next time, we'll talk to you guys later.
Oh, shit.